Jake had always been a night owl, but lately something was different. The woods behind his house, usually so peaceful, felt alive with something sinister. But the scratching at his window started soon after. The first time he saw it, he convinced himself it was just his imagination, a shadow too tall, too twisted to be real. It was faint at first, almost like branches brushing against the glass. But then one night it became deliberate. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Jake froze in bed, unable to move, heart pounding in his chest. Gathering his courage, he peeked through the curtain. Staring back at him were eyes, pale, lifeless, and too large for a human face. The thing outside grinned, revealing rows of jagged teeth, its breath fogging up the glass as it watched him. Jake's mind raced, grappling with the horrifying reality of what he was seeing. He felt as if the room itself had grown colder, the air thick with an indescribable tension. Jake knew he had to act, but every instinct told him to stay hidden and remain silent. Finally, he summoned enough resolve to grab his phone, hoping to illuminate the darkness. As the light pierced the gloom, he aimed it towards the window, heart racing in anticipation. What he saw sent a jolt of terror through him, the creature's grin widening in response to the sudden brightness. He slammed the curtain shut and backed away, but the scratching grew louder, more frantic. The window creaked as it began to bend inward under the pressure. He ran to the door only to hear the sickening sound of wood splintering behind him. It was inside. As he reached the hallway, he heard it, heavy, dragging footsteps, wet with something thick and foul, approaching from the direction of his bedroom. And then everything went dark. The silence that followed was suffocating, as if the world had paused in horror. With a final desperate glance back, Jake saw the creature emerging from the shadows of his room, its twisted limbs crawling toward him, mouth wide with anticipation. The air felt heavy, thick with unspoken dread wrapping around him like a shroud. In that oppressive stillness, the chilling realization dawned on him that he was utterly alone. The faintest whisper of movement echoed from the corners, sending shivers down his spine. Panic surged as he took a step back, feeling the weight of unseen eyes upon him. He felt the cold sweat trickle down his brow, each heartbeat echoing in his ears like a war drum. Desperation clawed at him as he considered his dwindling options, each more perilous than the last. In a final desperate move, Jake hurled himself out the door and into the night, slamming it shut behind him. He stumbled across the yard, not daring to look back, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He made it to the edge of the woods, pausing only to catch his breath. His heart was pounding, his mind racing. Had he actually escaped? Could he really be safe? Suddenly, the air around him thickened, filled with a low, rumbling growl. He realized too late that he had never left its territory. The woods were its hunting ground, and by running, he had only given it what it wanted, a chase. There was no door to slam shut now, nowhere to run. Branches snapped overhead, and Jake looked up to see the creature dropping from the trees, its mouth stretching into an impossibly wide grin. The last thing Jake heard was his own scream echoing through the dark, swallowed by the monster that had been waiting for him all along. In the aftermath, silence fell heavily around the woods, leaving behind only a chilling reminder of what had transpired. In the depths of the forest, something stirred, ready to continue the hunt. Yet the darkness whispered promises of other nights where fear would once again take form. The echoes of Jake's scream faded, but the woods were alive with anticipation, hungry for more.